So in the last video we have seen how to create a user and how to set the password. So we have created two users, ABC and XYZ. You can see them here, ABC and XYZ. We have created also passwords for them. We have not set up their first name and last name. We can do this by simply ABC, since the ABC user is already loaded, and that is why I can say ABC dot the first name and I can give it a value ABC, and then I can simply call the save method and it will save. If I refresh, I have set the first name for the ABC. So this way we can edit the user even after saving them. In this video we will see how to authenticate a user from the username and password. So we have created two users. Let's try to authenticate it. So if we have the username and password, then we have to use the authenticate method. So let's first import authentication from Django.contrib.auth, and from here we have to import authenticate. Yes, so I have imported authenticate, and using this I can verify whether the credentials for user is correct or not. So user is equal to, I say authenticate, I pass in the username. You can see here on the screen it takes request. By default it's none, and the credential, which is a keyword argument, that's what we call, I think, keyword arguments. So the keyword arguments will have like username and password. Okay, maybe I should show you this way. So credentials is equal to a dictionary, which like say username is maybe ABC and password is password new. I'm not sure what was the, yes, here it is, password new. So this is a dictionary, and to pass a dictionary as a keyword arguments, what we do, it's easy. Authenticate. We put two stars, two asterisk marks in front of a dictionary, in front of the variable name. So authenticate credentials. Now if these credentials are correct, then we are going to get that user. Otherwise it will be none. Let's see. And the user, as we can see here, we got the user ABC. That shows that these credentials that we passed was correct. Now let me make changes to these credentials. Instead of password new, let me give just password. And now I will again try to get the user. And now we can see the user is none. That means these credentials were wrong. So if we pass the credentials as a keyword argument to this authenticate method, it will verify whether these credentials are correct or not. If it is correct, then we will get the user, otherwise we will get none. And while using the authenticate method, you have seen that it also take request object, and by default it's set to none, but you can provide the request if you want to, and this request will be used in the authentication backend. So if your authentication backend requires the request object, you can pass it through the authenticate method. So let's investigate this user that we get from the basically first correct the credentials. Okay, so again I do this one, and the user is 0 authenticate, and now let's see what is there in the user. So I think we can do from here. So this is user. There is all the fields. Email is not set yet, and that is why it's an empty string. The first name is set, so it's ABC. We have the ID. Is active, is anonymous, is false, is authenticated. Here we can see is authenticated true, is star false, super user false, last login not available, last name is empty string, primary key which is just the ID is 3, and we have the password in the cryptic form. Use permissions, we'll see about the permissions later, and the username and username validator. So these are the things that we get in the user object if the username and passwords are correct. But one thing I want to show here is the backend. So this user.backend, let's see, is user.backend. So it also said the backend from which it verifies, and we currently have only one backend which verifies the credential of the users. It's django.contrib.auth.backends.model backend. So this is the only one available by default. You can add more, and this, I think this authenticate method will check the credentials against each backend, and if the credentials are not valid for any backend, or if any of the backend returns this permission denied exceptions, then we will get none in the output, otherwise we will get the user. So that's all for this authenticate method, and in the next video we will see about the permissions. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.